Hello and welcome to the Scientific Investor channel. Today we will be looking at our favorite cryptocurrencies and the price fluctuation of each cryptocurrencies like XRP, Ether, XLM, Bitcoin and Litecoin. We will look at those charts in different time frames like 4 hour, 1 hour to know what is going on currently, and then we'll look at a longer time frame to look at the long trend. What is going to happen? Is the trend changing or is it staying within that? Then we will look at some of the XRP related news from different news writers and providers. Then we will look at the Twitter, because today we have a lot in Twitter, a lot of updates from Twitter, which shows a lot of improvement and a lot of new partnerships, real world use cases for our favorite coin or digital asset, as we put. So first, I would like to say please do subscribe to my channel, and if you guys like the content, please press the like. Now we'll move on to analyzing the coins. First we'll start with Bitcoin, because most of the people are following Bitcoin. So first we'll look at a Bitcoin on 4 hour time frame. Now this is Bitcoin on 4 hour time frame, and the blue line here is 200-day moving average and red one is 50. Now as we can see, we just broke high from the previous level. Now we've been correcting ourselves a bit. At this particular point, 200-day moving average is acting as a support, and what we have to understand is at the same point we have the previous resistance line which is acting as a support now. So if we zoom out and check the longer time trend which is happening here, we can understand that it is still within that pattern. Even though the trend is there, trend line is staying there, we are still in that pattern. But it's not only a positive news, it can be a bit of negative too, because as we can see, almost all the time we have been at the top, spending a lot of time. We just came back to retest the bottom of the channel. So currently we are above the moving average. Yes, that is positive, and we are near to the resistance line at the top. So that is okay, that is good, cool. But as MACD is actually crossing high, bouncing up, that means yes, there is a possibility that the price can bounce from here. So in order to see that, we'll just zoom in a bit, go into a 1 hour time frame to see what is actually happening there. And as we can see, the price actually made recent lows. This is just zoomed in view. Okay, now here the price is actually slowly moving down, but from this point to this point, if you look at the MACD, I'll say there is a difference. It's showing a divergence. So personally, as I analyze this, I see there can be a potential upside, but yes, it won't be like directly going to 20,000 like previous all-time highs. Instead, it may go high, crossing this resistance, which will be 50-day moving average, and that is around 9,200, because currently the price is below 8,800, as you can see in this chart. Now we zoom really out and look in the weekly chart to understand what is actually going on with this particular asset. In the longer time frame, while we put that into log scale, what I can understand from this is it is actually following the same trend as it did previously. You can see it went up, it corrected down, then it went up, it corrected down. So each time it goes up, as you can see, it corrects down a bit, like 40%, 50%. So in the same way, if you look here, we already made around 49%, and we are still above both of the moving averages. That's actually a good news, and we are close to 50-day moving average. If we see in the whole entire bull market during 2016, 2018, the entire 2 years, we went up high, away from the 50-day moving average, came close to the 50-day moving average many times, and then bounced, right, each time. So at present we actually bounced. This is in a weekly view, we actually bounced away from the 50-day moving average, but at present there is a resistance. This one is related to this trend line. So once we break that, personally I believe there is a lot of upside for BTC, because a lot of people is considering it as a store of value. Okay, now looking at Stellar XLM. The reason for this is I'm including this in my analysis. So recently it had a pump, and technically it should be, because it is, as I mentioned in my previous videos, it is showing a rounded bottom here and moving up high. It is following its moving averages, which is being support here. More or less it's bouncing away from its 50-day moving average. It didn't even came back down to the 200-day moving average. Now if we plot this, say we can connect resistance lines here, right? It was acting as a resistance, it was acting as a resistance, but it crossed, then there was a fake out, it came back. So for me, I believe this particular channel is now not active. This can be a standard deviation now, because from this point onwards I will be personally looking this at like this. See, this one was a fake out, now that made a confirmation there, it made a confirmation here, it's bouncing, so it can actually move up high. So if we look at 1 hour time frame for the same and plot the same lines here, you may see that what I just stated is correct, because if you plot that, you can see a lot of touches, because yes, we plotted first in 4 hour and now looking at 1 hour, so you'll see a lot of touches there confirming that there was that price action. And what you have to look is in 4 hour or 12 hour, you actually have a positive cross, right? And it's still here, it's just crossed. But at the same time in MACD, if you're zooming in, you see that the MACD is at the top, it needs space to breathe. But if you zoom out, you see that's nothing compared to the previous highs. So there is still room to go for XLM, but as it recently pumped a bit, it may correct even more, because it's cryptocurrency, it can correct up to 40, 50, 60% even in the bull market. So prepare for anything, be cautious, be long-term investor instead of a trader. If you're trading, do keep your stop losses in place. For example, if you're looking, this is Ether, right? Now the consolidation here for Ethereum, as I can see, is making a triangle here. I haven't connected that properly, but yeah, I can see this. So if it's actually breaking upside, what I will personally say that is this length can be a target here if it's upside. So again, it's 210, and if it's breaking down, caution, it's gonna go around 165. But as of now, it is stable. I can say that this is bullish for Ether. If we zoom out a bit and look at 12 hour time frame, it's showing you a bull flag. If you put that, say like a rectangle inside, you can see that that's a bull flag, and that's okay, it's cool. Now if we zoom out to look at the long-term trend and how it's acting, I'll actually change that to log scale, because the previous one was not in log scale. So in this one, you can actually see that if you compare the long-term chart of BTC, it's okay, it's similar, right? You see the 50-day moving, 20-day moving average, it goes up high, it corrects back down, then after the correction again a boom, then correction, then a boom. So the first one was always smaller, then the second one was huge, it's humongous. So as we can see, this is just coming out of the bear market. Now when we say that we came out of the bear market, most of them points out no, we just came back down. So at that particular moment, what I would like to suggest is go to your search engine. I'm not promoting any search engine, but yes, you can go in anyone, okay? It's personal opinion, right? And look at market cycle. You see there is an initial rally and people say this, the same thing, this is not gonna go anyway, and it come down. So that's disbelief stage, and then it just booms. So for Ether, I'm still hoping that if I'm looking at the weekly chart, it's there. It already completed the disbelief phase for Ether. That's just my perspective, but for coins like XRP, XLM. I personally think that no, it hasn't done that yet. Once it come out of this and make a bit high and stay there above the moving average, just say 50 and 200, then yes, that is good. It can. I mean, I can change my perspective about that particular coins, because compared to XRP, XLM is ahead. It's above its 50-day moving average, now close to 200-day moving average. So once it makes a high above that and keep the stable, it will be okay. So now if we look at the same in the weekly chart and putting it that in a log scale as usual, we can see it's below both the average and it just crossed a bad cross. It's 50-day crossing the 200-day, but at the same time what you can see here is the MACD is showing positive. It's crossed to the upside. So in the same manner, I will say that it's a good time to buy. Like, if it's me, I'll be buying, and that's just my personal opinion. Now as we just went through the charts, we'll just see news updates. So the first one is XRP price technical analysis, sideways trading continues. And this is, as I did mine, this is from another analyst in 1 hour time frame. So he's showing that there is a liquidity support below and we are bouncing off from that level, and this previous level is acting as resistance. So you have to see the price level, the low at 0.27. Okay, that's his perspective. Now crypto analyst flips bullish on Bitcoin overnight. Now first one should be noted, this is on November 12th. Now the reason, as I told in my previous video, I'm doing this on November 13th, but this one is from November the 12th. That's an American, right? So the time frame is different. Maybe they are from a Western country, I'm in South Korea, so that's different. Now in this particular one, the wolf of all streets is showing that I'm fully back in BTC. He's getting a bullish divergence. I think this is his RSI showing a bullish divergence, and he is back in the market. Means he is actually anticipating a price move up high. As there will be change in volume, it will move up high. I also believe the same. Now this one is really good. So it's also like the same 12th November the 12th. So Ripple Executive says MoneyGram launching XRP in multiple markets, including Thailand and Mexico. What you have to think is, when we say Thailand, Mexico, and countries like India and all, we think they are okay, just developing emerging markets. But what you have to think is, there is a lot of expatriates for them. Like if you take Indians in US, Indians in UK, Indians in all different countries, there's a lot. Just check the population within that country. Now in the similar way, look at the population of Thailand, Mexico. How many of them are working outside, sending money back to home? Now this will actually support those guys, those hard-working individuals, reducing their cost and making the transactions a lot faster. The allowed ones will get the money in seconds. So think, even if Western Union is going to say that I'm going to give you free of cost after 3 days or 1 day, they won't. They're not gonna fall for that. Instead, say MoneyGram is maybe offering in seconds and with lower fees which they can imagine, with the better rate. That's the main thing. When they use fiat to fiat like Western Union is using, you can just compare. You can go into both the side, MoneyGram and Western Union, just open same corridor, like say USD to Mexico, or USD to Thailand. It's up to you. Compare the same. If you send $1,000, what will you be receiving? Look at the conversion rate, look at their fees. Okay, anyway, now moving to the other article, which is actually showing, like, the topic is Ripple powered Finabler revenue update, 22% rise. Now see, almost all the companies who are coming into Ripple and using on-demand liquidity brings them a lot of profit. Now this is being stated by a lot of companies who are using the same, and Ripple was informing the same from years. use this product. It's not a brainer. You will be saving this much and your customers will be happy because they will be paying you less fee and getting more consumer value. Now this is actually a South Korean Finable also teamed up with the South Korean electronics behemoth Samsung to get its remittance service delivered in 50 countries through Samsung crypto wallet, as Samsung has just came up with its crypto wallet in its mobiles. Now they are like hegemonic in their own industry, and now most of them have Samsung mobiles, and if they're using crypto wallet, now Finable is coming up with them, teaming up with them, they can just transfer money in seconds. So the financial industry payments area is getting so competitive. Mostly you will be able to do your transaction for free, and those who are having larger networks, having larger the human power, manpower, they are gonna miss this. The brick and mortar thing is gonna change. Now this one is another analyst who's looking at the price in a bit of negative way, like it can be the reality or positive side if we look at it in that perspective. Say we have a support here, still we are not bouncing up, but you can see that we just went up to the Bollinger Band and came back down. It wasn't able to cross the moving average here. Now to the Twitter. This is R3. We love Swift. It's okay. They love Swift, right? It's cool. Because in one Twitter post, I actually saw executive from a bank that's Euro, I believe Euro Axim Bank, was stating that he don't think Swift is gonna go away. In this particular one from Jack the Rippler, he don't think Swift is gonna go away because he believe XRP is moving across the Swift network as a currency when we perhaps using something like Forex. Because the conversion rates are entirely different, and if you want to reduce the end cost, like what your customers pay, you need to actually concentrate on that. Now this one is another one. It's directly from Ripple at BTC Global. It's on a mission to connect companies and individuals in Brazil with the rest of the world. Now, as we talked from the early stage, the use cases are popping out everywhere, and now the application of that use cases is there for XRP. Now look at other coins, other projects. How many of them has this much customers? How many of them has this much working cases, real world use case? So when I go through this, I'll actually put the article in the description, so it'll be easy for you guys. Now I was looking for this particular page. Now this one is actually showing you crypto loans, setting a bar for crypto lending industry. So usually if you say someone about this 5 years back, they will be saying, no, it's never gonna happen. Look, you will be going to a bank, you will be signing all the required shits for them, they will come behind you, do that, do this, do that, do this, and give you a loan. That's fiat, just paper. Now it's changed. Digital assets are being used for the same. So in next 5 years or 10 years, say the next generation will not actually, I don't believe, will go to bank to take this. Instead they can use this, because by that time it will be used for even for payments, settlements, everything. If you can buy, say, a coffee, even it will be okay. As Brad Garlinghouse mentioned, it's okay for countries like US and all, they can use dollar there. But there are countries in a lot of emerging markets, they're having trouble with their fiat currencies. So most of them will be using this, because if you take the economy, yes, currently US and China is there in the top, but countries like India is actually projected to grow much faster with their population and their working class. They're gonna be at top. Yes, personally I'm an Indian, so I'm supporting my country, but with facts. Like, take the average age of India, it's 33, so they're coming out with millions of working people every year. Okay, so now wrapping it up, we will just look at our cryptocurrencies again. See, most of them are stagnant, not having that much price movement. Tron has a bit, and Binance Coin have a bit. Now here, at the bottom, Neo has. But looking at the top 10 with if you're just avoiding the Bitcoin and saying the altcoins, big cap altcoins, we are still in the correction phase, and looking at us 7 days, XRP is not that feeling good. But as an investor, not a trader, as an investor, if you look at the return rates, this is in Coin Paprika, look at the all-time high and the percentage to all-time high. If you buy in now and the price only reaches the previous high, then you're going to make this much if you are not leveraged. If you're leveraged, that's another case, right? So see, this is 50% down in 1 year. So most of the investors will actually say, if you want to buy low. So that's my advice, brothers. If you want to buy, brothers and sisters, if you want to buy low. That's the best thing to do. So yes, we will be wrapping up our video now. If you guys like the content I provide, please do subscribe to the channel. That supports a lot, as this is a new channel. I need a lot of support from you guys. So I'll meet you guys on my next video.